So you wanna go to war with me? You're talking like you think you're royalty. You think that I'm afraid, but I don't break. I heard you question my stability. You think I'll fall just like a guillotine, but I am here to stay. Won't look away. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control it. In my bones, I'm coming for the, coming for the. I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne. So you wanna be my enemy? You should've known I'd never kiss the rain. Ice runs in my veins, won't play it safe. I don't belong with your nobility. Who died and made you king of anything? You think that I'm insane? It's your mistake. Kingdoms rise and fall. I've come to take it all. I'll take it. I've come to take it. Kingdoms rise and fall. I've come to take it all. I'll take it all. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control it. In my bones, I'm coming for it, coming for it. I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne.
Let's go. Yo, I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, cause that's what it takes.
Well. Happy Thursday, guys. September 25th. Markets in a bit of a turmoil today. GameStop down almost 3% on the day, 2.74%. 25.53. We unfortunately on the, this is the hourly chart. On the daily chart, we broke below that 200 MA, which I was really counting on this week being a support level. And so now we got to kind of recalibrate our thinking because we broke below it. We still got an hour to go. It's anybody's guess what could happen, but like I always tell you guys, GME is not different than the market. I know you hear different on the pumper channels. When the market has a bad day, GameStop's going to have a bad day. And we got the Dow down about half a point, S&P down half a point, NASDAQ down half a point. GME being highly volatile is down more than the index. Not surprising to me. So no, I'm not too worried about this. Is the red that we're seeing here GME specific? No, not at all. Is the fact that GME is falling faster than the market GME specific? Yes, yes it is. But you guys know that. You've been playing this game long enough. You know who to listen to and who not to listen to, or how to anticipate what is coming. Welcome. You're in the right spot. Welcome to the haters and the supporters of the channel. Guys, today is a unique opportunity if you want to come on camera with your phone, with your iPad, with your Galaxy S22. No, not you. Anyone else, if you want to come in and ask a question today, let me know. I'll drop a link here in the chat. And if you're bashful and you don't want to be on camera, just type out your questions. We got about 1 hour before the market closes. 50 something minutes until the market closes to get your questions in. Otherwise, I'm going to look at another ticker because there are a couple that I'm just dying to go through their financials. We have a movie scheduled later this afternoon. What is it called? So there won't be a, there might be an after hours live stream. There won't be a late night live stream today. What is this movie we're seeing? Leonardo DiCaprio, one battle after another. After I booked this movie, I realized, holy shit, man, this is almost a 3-hour movie. That is a commitment. John, why? How you doing? Why are we going down, 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 down? The market's having a rough day, John. And GME being a high volatility stock, going down a little more than the market. It's perfectly normal in my eyes. You know, red day, red GameStop doesn't really worry me. I would like to see the markets turn around. Let's put the S&P up here somewhere. SPY is down 0.5%. Now I want to just compare that. They had a big dip at 2 o'clock, corrected back up. That was what, a 5-minute chart. GameStop had the same dip, but it didn't correct back up. Huh. Well, I'm confused, John, because they told me the shorts were petrified. What are we supposed to think of this, John? They're worried about those warrants. Steve-O, what's up? He says, what do you see GME doing over the next year? I'm actually pretty bullish over the next year, Steve-O, for a couple of reasons we've laid out. basically two. The company has now implemented enough cost cutting, and they're still working on it. They're still cutting stores. There's still store closures going on. But they have implemented enough cutting that they are now operationally profitable, so we don't have to worry about, allegedly, we don't have to worry about operational cash burn. That's one thing that I'm bullish about. We finally turned the tide about that. I can say that, and I don't have to guess, speculate, promise you something that I don't know of. This is now fact. I like to live in a world of fact when we're talking about speculative stocks. So that is a fact. Unless something terrible happens, I don't expect that to change over the next year. We should see operational profits. We've got, on top of that, extra cash coming in from interest, although I'd like it to be higher than 4%, obviously, because the market is not going to give you a valuation off of cash. I don't care how many times these yahoos say that it will. That is just not factual. Go talk to anybody, anybody except GameStop YouTubers. Talk to anybody in the world of finance. The market does not value cash. They value cash being put to use. So that goes into my second thing that I'm bullish about. The potential, I'm going to always use that word, even though it makes the clowns mad. The potential of that cash being put to use, I am bullish on. So I got two things that I'm bullish on. No more cash burn from operations, and the potential use of cash once Ryan Cohen and team find an appropriate way to invest that cash. I think those are perfectly sound things to be speculatively bullish on. Now the bears, you know, they're going to say the exact opposite. They're going to say Ryan Cohen has no plans to do anything with that cash. He's just going to keep on diluting you and stockpiling and raising his book value because, you know, he's in at what, like $2 a share. The more cash he stacks on the balance sheet, the better his exit will be. That's what the bears will say. I don't subscribe to that. I think he genuinely intends to do something with the cash. And he's stumbled on a couple of things over the last couple of years. But, I think they potentially have struck gold with the Power Packs website and the trading cards thing. I'd like to see a few quarters in the bag to validate my belief. I'm not going to be the guy to promise you that trading cards and Power Packs are the take us to the Holy Land. I certainly can see the potential. I certainly can see the potential, but I'd like to see a couple quarters of numbers posted up. John says, hey, thank you, John. Chris, how you doing? Good afternoon. Sky says, if I may ask, what is your current position in GME? You may ask. I try and post it in every video. I try and put up the chart at least once. I also post my trades in the VIP section of Discord. Here's my most recent. I've been swing trading GameStop since the split several years ago. That is when I quit buy and hold. When I saw the amount of misinformation and hype and, just blatant incorrect information regarding what was going to happen in that split, I was like, this is too ridiculous for me. I'm going to capitalize on the run up. I sold my position into that split run up, and I've only been swing trading for however many years that is now. Where's my other buy down here? Here's my last 3 buys and sells. June 3rd, 2024, sold half at $60. I wish I would have bought at $9.95, but I didn't know where it was going to bottom out, and it ran up too quick. Them's the breaks. It's fine with me. We're doing just good, turning profits. This is not going all the way back to the split. I'm just trying to catch y'all up. If it's your first time here, I had bought June 3rd when it started moving. I was waiting for confirmation, but man, that confirmation came quick. And I have no, You know, in a momentum trade, there's no price that I won't buy at. It didn't matter to me if it was 10 or 30 in a momentum movement. So I bought at 29.70, sold half at 60, said I'm going to hold it overnight, the rest, and see what happens. And what happened was we got a dilution. So as it was coming down in pre-market, I sold the rest at 48. Then I waited quite a while for things to settle down. Finally bought again in April, 21.25, sold on this run up at 33. We got a dilution. Lucky timing on my part that I got out, but I was happy with a run of over 10 bucks. Bought again at 21.61, and so here we sit. That was June of 2025. And if you've been tuning in to any of my TA videos, I like to buy down here in this demand zone. So probably not going to be buying up here at 25, 27, no matter how many people try and yell at their screen, why aren't you buying now? Because it's overpriced in my book. I like to buy down in a demand zone and until I can see that a new level has been reached, and I don't know that we're there yet. I don't know. Maybe 27 was the top. Maybe we go back down to 21. Who knows? The price is not as important to me as trying to figure out where the damn thing bottoms out. And it is a continual game with GameStop because every quarter their financials change. So we get to ratchet up where we feel comfortable at. Or, you know, we might have felt comfortable a year ago at $9, and now I feel pretty comfortable around 2021. It would take an entire damn market crash probably to put me in the red. I don't think GameStop is going to put me in the red at 21.61. I do worry about market risk, a market crash, but I got to worry about that in every ticker. So I don't penalize GameStop for that. John says, Tony, you and Newton are both sharp guys who are bullish on GME. He believes the shorting on GME is significantly higher than what you believe. Why do you think you and him differ substantially on this? I think it's perfectly fine for people to have different opinions, John. I watched Richard from time to time. And yeah, I didn't agree with everything, but you didn't also see me attacking him because he believed what he was saying. I honestly think that, and maybe he's correct. Who am I to say? What I try and do on this channel for every ticker is stick to things that I can back up with fact. And that's just a difference in how we present information. I might theorize on some stuff from time to time or even speculate on it. But as far as the reporting of a stock, for any ticker, I've ever only talked about reported short interest. You could go back 4 years and you don't hear me talking about billions of synthetic shares. We talk about reported short interest. That's just how I do it on my channel. Do I make bets sometimes that there's more shorts out there than we can see on reported short interest? Of course I do. But, you know, when there's got all these people wanting to blame you for their decisions, you got to be careful about what you report on. I hope you can respect that. You know what I'm talking about. All those people that they hit the buy button, they didn't hit the sell button, and then they want to blame you, YouTubers, for their own decision or indecision. I figure if I stick to talking about what is market data, you know, what's the worst they're going to say? He was bullish because short interest was 16%. Okay. And, you know, it's different if he told me there were billions of synthetics and this was going to $1,000 a share. You don't hear price targets from me like that, and you don't hear me talk about synthetics because I just don't do it on any ticker. But I also don't attack people that might have a different viewpoint. It's a marketplace of ideas. What I will often attack is people that blatantly lie or just completely, we got tangible data and they completely misconstrue it. That I don't like. I will talk about that. Speculation, I speculate away. Like, what do people lie about when they tell you that the market should be giving GameStop 5x book value? No, that's a lie. It's a lie or just complete ignorance, because the market don't give two shits about book value unless your market cap is below book value. These people wonder, well, why is XYZ trading at 100x book? Motherfucker, because they have earnings, they have ridiculous cash flow, and they have projections of growing earnings and growing revenue. That's what they're being valued on, not book value. Book value is a byproduct. Trading at 100x book is a byproduct of the fact that their price is derived by earnings and earnings expectations. That's what people miss. And I get it, you know, the earnings aren't that great on GameStop, so they look for something else to talk about. I find that, you know, not really cool. Same type of thing happens with AMC. People talk about price to sales. Ooh, look how spicy that looks. You know, that proves we're undervalued. Okay, again, you're skirting the discussion about earnings. That's kind of scummy to me, the people that do this stuff. Talk about what the market actually values. Earnings, PE ratio, ROA, ROE, ROIC. And then you start really easily understanding how these stocks are valued and when they're overvalued or when they're at fair value. All the fog goes away, all the pumping hopium. Just focus on things that matter. It will make your ability to predict what happens in these tickers so much more accurate. What Steve says, facts are good, thank you. With bullish momentum, what kind of price target? I just got done saying I don't like price targets. I will talk to you guys about price targets that we could see on the chart. And so I have that supply zone up there. Those are generally where when you see me have a supply zone on any ticker, and I have them on a bunch, those are generally points at which I have to have a hard discussion with myself about selling. But sometimes you can break through a supply zone and just keep going. And so that is a very careful discussion that you need to have, as well as analyzing what is going on in the moment. Like if Roaring Kitty came back, would I sell at $30? Probably not, because that kind of FOMO momentum could easily take it back up to 60. What do I know? How do you can't chart FOMO momentum. You can chart when it's kind of petering out. That's where I would decide to sell, when I see the volume and the price start to slow down and turn the other way. So the only thing you'll get out of me as far as price targets, watch the supply zones, watch what happens around those supply zones. And if we're talking long term, like 1 or 2 years, then we get to dream a little bit about what do we think the earnings per share will be for GameStop if they keep cutting costs, booking positive operating income, and transform earnings through proper investment of cash. You could dream a little bit. What do you think the earnings per share on an annual basis could be? And what PE ratio would the market award GameStop? I think being generous, 30 is being generous. So could we tell a story that GameStop's going to have $1 per share in earnings? $2 per share in earnings annually? You can start thinking of some price targets, multiply times 20, 25, 30 PE. That's really up to each person's level of optimism or not. And I'm just going to be blunt. It's very difficult for me to predict what GameStop's going to do, because they are in this transformative period, and I don't know what he's going to do with $9 billion in cash. So how do I put an upper limit on my price target? I can't. It could go way higher than whatever number I tell you today. What I focus on right now with GameStop is helping you understand why the price is stuck down here. Because of lack of earnings, although, you know, things are starting to come together now. The PE ratio is coming down. Earnings are going up. And the fact that, very simply, the market doesn't value cash sitting there at 4%. So you're not going to get a premium for that. Sorry. But you could get a rocket one day when we wake up to news that they bought something, acquired something, invested in something. So that's your speculative bet. Are you going to bet that one day you wake up and it's good news? I can't advise you on speculative tickers. I can talk to you about current valuation. I do have a speculative bet, bullish on this stock. I have never bet against GameStop. I just buy it when it's cheap. If it seems overpriced to me, I will just be patient. Hallie says there is a theory out there on PSA slabs that we are potentially heading into a junk slab era. Too many people grading every card under the sun, which will devalue slabs. You guys don't know this, but Hallie operates a online card trading business. Do you still? So I value his inputs. It's good to hear from you, amigo. Back when I was doing my whole trading card DD, and I went around and I talked to a bunch of stores and some big national folks, and Hallie, of course, in our Discord, and a longtime member of the channel. He says he does still operate that business. You were the one that told me too, I remember, because the retail stores don't really like to talk about this. About the dangers of carrying a bunch of inventory when maybe that, some portion of your inventory all of a sudden becomes out of favor, and you're carrying this inventory you bought at X price, but it starts getting devalued. Now you're having to write down your inventory. Hopefully GameStop is getting high enough turnover that is not an issue. But when I say I want to see a couple of quarters of results, there's a lot going into that. I'm not just blindly optimistic. I'm realistic. And I am optimistic, but not blindly so. Ethan says, any thoughts on Webull? On trading the ticker? I wish Mediocre would get in here, or we'd get him back on a live. He's been bugging me for weeks about Webull. I know he's very bullish on this ticker. And we've been doing a lot of digging through the financials. I would say I'm not at a point where I feel like I completely understand their financials enough to understand why is it being held back, and what risk of dilution do they have on the future. But I think there will be some future conversations. I know that Mediocre is anxious to talk about it, and I'll just say that I have not completed enough due diligence to have a good idea, good enough for me to invest in it yet. That is just a function of my free time. And I have thought about calling May up, Markets with May, because she likes these financial institutions. She's way better at quickly honing in on what is important or stand out, good or bad, than I am. I could figure it out. She could figure it out like that, or it might take me days, because I don't typically invest in those type of tickers. So I have been thinking about reaching out to her and seeing if she'd share some thoughts with us, but I haven't talked to her in a month or more. So we'll see. Ethan says the people want May back. Funny you mentioned that. She's been heavily involved in talking with the SoFi crowd. Louis says Ryan Cohen will announce something next week. No way in hell he does this just to let it stall or downward movement for no reason. I mean, I think that's a fine theory, Louis. I would prefer if he's going to announce something that he'd do it after the warrants are distributed, not next week. We got 12 days. But, I mean, honestly, if we want to dream for a minute and say that whatever news he announced, Louis, could take it to $40, it won't matter if it's in October or January or February. You'll lose a little bit of time value the longer it takes, but I think it's more important for him to take his time and make the right investment, right decision. Maybe he has it lined up to, maybe he's hoping something will be announced. That he can't have already signed a deal because they would have had to disclose that if it's meaningful, I think. But he might be working on something. Certainly might be working on something. Hallie says, yes, there was a great quote on trading cards on the dangers of player cards. Pokemon cards never blow a hamstring and lose value, unlike player cards. I see a lot of people gravitating towards those Pokemon cards over player cards, and you told me that a year ago, Hallie, and you have remained both constant and correct. Jersey Man says, are you doing any day trading or just swing trades? I have a lot of my day trade money tied up in this damn Railtown ticker. And I've been expecting for weeks now. It's a OTC RLAIF 43 cents. They have a acquisition of a private company. We're waiting on news. And if the news is good, and if the market likes the news, this is super speculative. I'm not recommending this ticker to you. For God's sake, go do your own DD. I put out a half dozen videos on this ticker to catch you up if you want to see those. But I mean, this is a bet on top of a bet. It's a no revenue. It's a pre-revenue OTC. It's a Canadian company, and it trades in the US also, but on the OTC market. If the acquisition goes through, if that private company has some meaningful revenue, we don't know because it's private, but that's the supposition. And if the market likes that news, this little AI company could be a multi-bagger above 43 cents. So I have a bet rolling on that one. I bought, in between the supply and demand zone here. I did not buy in the run up. I was saying let it pull back. I mean, it's a pretty good pullback right here. But I certainly wouldn't I wouldn't go mortgage my house and put it on this. Because I don't know. What if the deal doesn't get announced? What if the market doesn't like the deal? But that's where my play money is tied up right now. And I keep waiting. It's driving me nuts. They just finished up attending a summit in Montreal called the All In Summit. And today was the last day. Today could be a good day to announce some news. Just saying. Or tomorrow. I don't know. Ethan says they're getting into the cash zone of being able to acquire Best Buy. Yeah, let's take a look at that. I haven't thought of that, but let me just look at something here. If we look at a BBY, enterprise value is what I'm looking for. 18 billion. Yeah, I mean, with 9 billion in cash, you could figure out a way to buy an $18 billion company. Enterprise value takes into consideration the market cap plus any debt that the company has, because if you buy them out, you're going to have to buy their debt or deal with it somehow, minus cash. So, I mean, it's kind of a rough way to look at, besides just considering the market cap, what would it really cost to buy this company? And, you know, if you got 50% down and you got 9 billion cash, you could leverage that. I mean, you could you could restructure that debt. Is Ryan Cohen interested in getting in the big box store business? I don't know. I would prefer, you know, well, what do I know? Don't listen to me. Doesn't matter what I prefer. If you guys have listened to me at all in the last 4 years, you've heard me say this. I'm not a fan of big box retail stores that are heavily dependent on thousands, tens of thousands of employees and inventory. It's just not my preferred investment. I will swing trade them if they get beat up, but it's not the type of investment I'm in love with. So I'm hoping Ryan Cohen comes up something better than that. Hallie says, do you think the revenue from the GME sale has hit the P&L yet? What are we talking about? Canada? Hallie? If we're talking about Canada, and I think that's what you're talking about because that is where you're located, there is not going to be any meaningful contribution or deduction from GameStop's financials from Canada. They basically just washed their hands of it. Yeah, no, there's not going to be any revenue or income whatsoever from it was a divestiture. They were like, take it off our hands. We good? Whew. Glad we got out from under that albatross. That's not my opinion. That is, there was a footnote in the most recent 10Q that said that. You can go alt search the 10Q for Canada and you'll find that. Do I have a trailing stop loss? I don't. There are times I put trailing stop losses in on momentum trades or swing trades. If I really have no idea, like if it's a volatile day trade type stock, I might have a trailing stop loss on them. Or if I'm way up on a trade and I'm worried that the trade's just going to turn against me and I'm not going to be around my computer, I might put a trailing stop loss. But if I'm sitting here, if I'm home and I have my alerts on, I don't use them. It is a great strategy, especially if you've got a regular full-time job. But sometimes the market just whacks a price, doing a little bit of stop loss hunting, and then it runs back up. So you got to be careful. But it is a strategy I've recommended to people from time to time. I don't have any blanket strategic recommendation on that. Silver up to 45, Chris says. Yeehaw, Yukon Cornelius. UK Dave, you made it before we finished. How we doing, Dave? GameStop now down let's call it 3.2%, 25.42. We got about, 15 minutes left on this day? What do we got here? Well, we broke under the 200. What am I looking at next? I'm not really looking at 5-minute charts on GameStop. I'm looking at the daily and the weekly. So we got support down here, 24.93 to 24.50. Maybe by the end of this week we retest that. I'd feel a lot better if we bounce up off of that. If we break through that, the next thing we'll be watching is the 50-day all the way down at 23.5. If we break that, well, then we're just fucked back in this $22 holding pattern. I don't know, what are they doing? The theory that billions of shorts were going to buy to close their naked shorts because they weren't going to get warrants, that's kind of evaporating on us. Wasn't a theory I've been pushing, but for those that have been pushing that, like, how do you explain a day like today? Nobody seems very scared to me. Ethan says, I don't like how illiquid Railtown is. It is very illiquid. That's another good point, Ethan. At 100% true. You see people on Railtown. I see some of them on YouTube. There's one channel that covers Railtown all day, and his 30 followers have 12 million shares of Railtown, if you believe them. And that group individually ran the price of Railtown up. You wonder why this ran up? Because one YouTube channel was covering it and they were buying it. It was like a self-feedback loop. They saw the price going up, so they kept buying more. It was them driving the price up, because you're exactly right. There's no fucking volume on this thing. And then they ran out of money. And now it's coming back down. Now you got to think, too, there's people over in Canada that are running arbitrage on U.S. volume. U.S. is going to run it up. All right. We're going to sell it back down to a price that we like and keep the difference. Which is why I just said be patient on Railtown. Wait for a good entry. Man, they hate me on that other YouTube channel for saying be patient. I don't know why be patient is such a toxic statement. Like, people get really angry when you tell them how to save money and get a better entry. I don't get it. I don't get it. Dave says, can you explain the point of AMC NFTs we all received? I think they were much like when GameStop was trying to get into the NFT market. I think everybody was trying to capitalize on what they thought was hot and popular in the moment. And then, that whole NFT thing kind of collapsed in popularity. I've been reading articles of people that spent a ridiculous amount of money on NFTs, and they're down like 90%. So I just think AMC was trying something because they thought people wanted it, because it was hot, it was easy to do, and it helped drive excitement, just like the Hycroft coins. Like, why would anybody buy a Hycroft coin? It's not Hycroft silver. That's a fact. You're not supporting the company. They've reported zero revenue for years. So you think you're buying coins to support the company. Where's the revenue then? It's to drive excitement. Oh, and it's twice the price of silver. When you buy those coins, you're paying 2x the value of the actual silver. So what is the value for that? There's none. It's what's the word? Something to drive retail investor interest. Maybe the nicest way I could say it. At least the NFTs were free. At least if you did buy Hycroft silver 2 years ago, maybe you're break even on the value of your coin. Because you definitely paid twice what they were worth in terms of quantity of silver. Yeah, Dave, as far as I know, they serve no purpose. Yeah. I'm hoping one day, Dave, that if AMC survives, that they open up a VIP room when you walk in the lobby. Have you ever been to Neiman Marcus? Ladies or gentlemen, they have these, the nice dressing rooms, or it's like an apartment in there. You got couches, TVs. Oh, would you like a mixed drink? Maybe maybe there's a VIP lounge for those of us that have AMC NFT. I got all of them, including the Hycroft ones. I know people say you didn't own any. I've posted my NFTs. I posted my postcards. Got multiple postcards because I owned AMC in multiple accounts back in the lawsuit day. I have all those NFTs. Do I think they're worth anything? Nah. Yeah, it's kind of a pipe dream that there would be a VIP lounge. That would be just kind of funny though, wouldn't it? Mementos. That's a good word, Cancel Bubble. They are a memento. Yeah, I like those pennies. Put in a penny and put in a silver dollar, and we'll give you a commemorative stamped penny. Exactly right. When you go to, what was that park we used to go to as kids? Silver Dollar City. Any of y'all been to Silver Dollar City? It was an actual theme park. I don't think it's open anymore. That's where I remember getting my very first stamped penny. Dink says, when has being in a hurry worked out well without a catalyst? Dink, being patient is, I think, the smart man's game. It doesn't make you popular, unfortunately. But that patience can allow you just to sit back, casual, sleep at night, wait for a good entry. And as long as you have the time and ability to sit here or set alerts and wake up to them, if it starts running when you weren't expecting, you just wake up and hit the buy button. Not like you're going to miss out on anything. I hate all this fake hype. Like, oh, you got to buy every day at any price or you're going to miss out. No, you're not going to miss out. Chris says Silver Dollar City is still open. Really? There was another one we went to in the middle of America, Chris. I can't remember what it was called. Another amusement park. Because for a while we lived up there in the Farm Belt when I was a wee lad. Man, I wish I could remember the name of that other park. Somewhere up there around Nebraska, North Dakota, Kansas, I forget where it was. I'll think of it one day, but I know that one's closed. Ethan says Six Flags is about to go bankrupt. Do you think that they'll just restructure the debt and sell it to private equity, Ethan? I used to go to those parks, Six Flags and SeaWorld, all the time when my two boys were little. But now we don't go at all. Maybe, maybe when we have the next one, I'll start going again. Branson, Missouri. Is that where Silver Dollar City is? I'm trying to remember Dollywood. That's kind of near Gatlinburg, right? Yeah. We used to have family gatherings, like all the cousins, aunts, and uncles. Everybody would travel from wherever, and we'd meet up in Branson. Back then, we're talking in the 70s. We didn't have quite all the fancy parks that we have these days. Yeah, Disney buying Six Flags. That's quite likely. You're right. GameStop now down 3.5%. Holy smokes, we're getting smoked here, kids. AMC also down 3%. Let's see how Tesla's looking. Down 4%. Holy schmeckles. We're getting crushed. How about our meme stocks? Bed Bath & Beyond down. Well, they're flat. They're holding up. Open got a little rally today, up 10%. Quantum Computers, another little meme stock play that I'm watching, 17.25. And GNS down 5%, despite news that the CEO and the board are buying shares, and supposedly, as the youngsters used to say, supposedly 60% of the float is locked up. Wow. I mean, if that is true and they still knocked it down 5% today, it's not looking good for our team. That's what I'm thinking. If we can lock up 60% of the float and they can still wreck us, not looking too good for our team. I'm not in this trade. That was the company I was going to go over their financials. They just dropped. It's a freaking train wreck, this company. But the CEO, Tony, he's filing lawsuits for naked shorts. True. Still down 5%. We'll follow up on those lawsuits in about 2 or 3 years if the company survives. See how they're doing. Ethan says, what you think Six Flags is not profitable enough for private equity? Dave, yeah, the Swifty news was a nice little pop for AMC on Friday, and then they just look. You know, I don't want to be the bad news bears here, but Taylor Swift movie is 3 days. It's not like the 2023 event. I posted about this in the Discord. I don't always. I'm very upfront with my Discord because they like frank, timely, and honest information. YouTube and Twitter, not so much. They don't like it. But I said, a couple things to keep in mind with Taylor Swift as everybody is hyping it up. I'm looking at the accounting on this thing. The price is 40% lower, the ticket price, 40% lower than 2023. They're $12 each, these tickets, versus the last one was $20. And we got 3 days of revenue versus 90 days in 2023. Is Taylor Swift the monumental shift in Q4 that these people on social media are telling you? I don't see it. Now, you tell me that you're going to extend the run for 90 days. We know we got a different thing to consider, but like, what are we talking? 30 million, 40 million, 50 million on added to one weekend? That's good. It's not a game changer. It is great timing though, because the beginning of October is a little bit slow. So I love it. I love it. You just don't see me out there saying this is the most important thing we should be talking about. The most important thing we should be talking about is the upcoming proxy. And for whatever reason, no one wants to talk about that. Go figure. Oh my gosh, these guys. They're killing us. 25.29 now. Dave says, could it be extended if successful? Yes. I know it's been selling out, Dave. I've been watching in my local area. The other thing is 30 to 50 million is going to be divided between AMC, Regal, Cinemark. So what's AMC going to make? 25 million off of that? 20 million? I don't know. Plus a little bit from distribution. I think it's a fine announcement. I'm super excited about it. People should go support it. If you like Taylor Swift. I didn't go see the last one. I'm not going to see this one. It's just not my thing. But I can't in good faith tell you as an AMC investor that deserves to run the price up to $4. It's a nice to have. Ethan says, I was hoping AMC would team up with Eminem on his new album. You know, Ethan, you remember they did something with Eminem about a month or two ago? And I was very excited to go see that. I would have definitely gone to that concert cinema showing, but it was not available in my area, which is really frustrating. I mean, we're a pretty big city. Some of these movies, like when they're limited release, the only way I could see them at an AMC is I got to drive to Dallas, and I'm just not going to do that for a movie. Or I guess, you know, I could look and see if the competition had it, but I generally don't do that. I don't even look, because then I might be tempted. We got the bell. I'm delinquent by 2 minutes. Ding, ding, ding. Ding, ding, ding. $25.29 on the day. Ouch. And let's see if we got any news. Nope. Nothing recent. And I want to follow up and see if Railtown dropped any news. Still nothing. Come on, you mother. Dave says, I'm okay with AA asking for more shares, but only to be used as backup if needed. That'd be, I think, Dave, the optimal outcome. Like, they're going to ask for more shares. Almost without a doubt. He could soften the blow by assuring investors that they would only be used if absolutely needed. Like if they had a forecasted low liquidity quarter. If you're going to burn They can tell by looking ahead if they're going to lose $100 million on operating cash flow or even free cash flow. If they see that they're going to burn $100 million and they only got $400 million in the bank, you might need to raise $100 million. So yeah, if they say that, I think that's about the best we can hope for. PFA, how you doing? He says, well, next week GME pop. I'm still bullish about GameStop going into October 3rd through October 7th. We got spanked a little bit today and yesterday by market doldrums. But, if you listen to my channel, I'm not the channel that tells you if the market crashes, GameStop is going to soar. If the market goes down, you should expect GameStop to go down. That is just normal thinking. I know there's a lot of unnormal thinkers out there. We don't do that bullshit here. What will turn GameStop around? What will send it shooting up? I'm waiting for one thing. Ryan, tell us what you're going to do with the cash. Very simple thesis here. Gotta let it breathe. Yes, Ethan. It's like a fine bottle of Italian red wine. Did you think I was going to say French? Certainly not going to say New Zealand or Australia. Gotta let it breathe. Stocks cannot go up and to the right every single day. And we have on this channel, if you guys have been paying attention, we have a very realistic view about what's going to happen with these warrants. There are not billions of shorts clamoring to close before the warrant issuance. Like you gotta, I mean, that's entertaining, but that's not factual. The thesis remains the warrants are a bonus, a nice to have, especially if Ryan announces some news where he's going to invest that cash. I think everybody will be handsomely rewarded if that happens in the next year. For me, it doesn't get any more complicated than that. It's a fine gift. I hope we get a chance to unwrap it one day. Ethan says a nice Jersey-made wine. I heard that upstate New York has some wineries, Ethan. You know, in my area outside of Austin, we have the Texas Hill Country, and there are quite a bit of wineries out there. When I started doing wine tours out there, there were maybe like 6 wineries, and now there's 40 or 50, and some of them are quite fancy. But the wine... I mean, if you want to save the hassle and expense of flying out to Napa or Sonoma, it's fine, but it's very difficult to find an excellent Texas wine. They're okay. They're good with barbecue. Even a good chilled Texas white wine on a hot summer day out on the deck is good, but they're not world class. I don't know about Jersey wines. Never tried one. And that whole Australian thing, man. When we were younger, 20s, 30s, and friends couldn't afford to spend much on wine. You have a party and they bring that big old bottle of Australian Malbec, the $7 bottle. What is that brand that has the fucking kangaroo on it? Anyways, that stuff was nasty. There are some good Australian wines, but not the cheap stuff. Don't be bringing that. When you come to the party, don't be bringing that shit. You bring a good California red or white. Rebleep 69. Yes, sir. I have been here in Austin since 85. Family is from Austin since Austin started. My great-grandfather and his brothers were stonemasons, and they helped build the state capitol building here way back in the day. Hook 'em horns, Rebleep. I did not grow up here as a youngster because my dad was in the military. So we kind of grew up all over the U.S. My wife has been here. You know, she's native Texan, lived here all her life. But we did come here a lot for summer vacations, and then I just came here to go to university and stayed. Got lucky. Got a good corporate job way back in the day. Did that for 15 years. And then, you know, kind of doing my own thing since then for the last 20 or so. Austin has really changed since 85. I was talking to my son the other day. When I moved here, we were talking about bar fights down on 6th Street. Because he was telling me where he and his friends went for his birthday down on 6th Street. And I was like, yeah, I used to go there back in the day. I remember some fights there. I remember people getting shoved down the stairs at the Iron Cactus. And then it hit me for a second. I'm so old that my kid is now going to bars that I used to go to when I was his age. That's crazy. Even crazier that those bars are still there. You know how it is. Tough to keep a bar open for 20 years. Palatial, is it Palatial Gamer? Howdy. He says, in the middle of buying our first home, closing costs are killing us. Could definitely use a little support. Well, I don't know anything about sharing Bitcoin links, but apparently there's the one there if you guys want to help him out. I've been thinking about doing some charity live streams for folks, but I really, if I did that for someone, I need it to be someone who's like in danger of getting kicked out of their house or losing their car. But even then, you know, you try and do that. How do you know someone's not scamming you? How do you know? I don't know. Anywho, 415, 2538 on GameStop. AMC at 284. One last check in on Railtown. No news. Well, I'm going to end with this. We still got tomorrow, kids. Keep your head on your shoulders. There's a lot of people pushing a bunch of crazy theories. If you want to hear rational, no hype, non-emotional, like common sense, what the fuck is going to happen? I've put out like 4 or 5 videos on warrants. You should go watch them. And then in 12 days, we'll find out who's right. I'm still bullish. Warrants are a great gift. But Ryan's got to deliver us some news about what he's doing with that cash. That takes us to the promised land. And then we will go, what? Up and to the right.
Up and to the right. Up and to the right. Up and to the right.
Hello, millionaires. Short screenplays, my fortune flip. GameStop's journey, an epic trip. From humble roots to the moon we fly. A company's dream will amplify. Reddit warriors, keyboards in hand. With their eyes on the prize, they took a stand. No one's selling, we're here to fight. How does it go? run, but the retail army we've already won. With every share we'll never stop. Investors say we love the stock. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. And stocks on the rise, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Together we'll soar. Up and to the right. Up and to the right. We're in for the ride. Together we'll soar. Up and to the right.
Surprise!
We're gonna win.